TLC stars Jill Duggar and her husband Derick Dillard have revealed tornadoes devastated their town. Over Memorial Day weekend, a deadly tornado hit parts of Texas, Oklahoma, and Arkansas. In an Instagram story, Jill, 32, and Derick, 35, issued a joint statement about how the twisters ripped through our area. The couple spent most of the night awake as the force pummeled homes and knocked out power lines. "Thankfully, we are okay, but friends and some family weren't so fortunate," their statement read. "We are praying for those affected. Tornadoes missed us by a few miles," they concluded. The story also included emojis of a tornado and 2 red exclamation points. The devastation. On Saturday night, a tornado wreaked havoc on an area near a mobile home park in Cook County, Texas. At least 18 deaths have been reported across the U.S., according to the Associated Press. Cook County Sheriff Ray Sappington confirmed 2 children, one who was 2 years old and another who was 5 years old, were among the dead. The severe storms also resulted in about 20 injuries in the area. "We do have 5 confirmed dead, but sadly, we think that number is probably going to go up," the sheriff told reporters. "There's nothing left of this house. It's just a trail of debris left. The devastation is pretty severe." 4 deaths have been confirmed by officials in Oklahoma and Arkansas, 2 in each state, the outlet reported. Hundreds of thousands of civilians remain without power, according to poweroutage.us. By Sunday afternoon, over 164,000 were reported without power in Kentucky, more than 102,000 in Arkansas, and over 55,000 in Texas. Photos of the damage caused by the storms display mangled power lines, demolished vehicles, and buildings torn apart. The tornado damage came just weeks after the couple held a funeral for their daughter Isla, who died in stillbirth. In late April, Jill and Derick shared heartbreaking photos of the funeral service as they laid their daughter to rest. They also set up a table with baby clothes, cards, books, toys, and blankets to memorialize their youngest child. "Isla Marie, our baby girl. We will love you forever and hold you in our hearts until we hold you in heaven," Jill wrote. The Counting On alums are also the parents of 3 sons, Israel, 9, Samuel, 6, and Frederick, 21 months. Jill Duggar and her husband, Derick Dillard, had always found solace in their peaceful Arkansas home. Nestled amid rolling hills and wide-open fields, their house stood as a sanctuary from the whirlwind of their public lives. On an ordinary summer day, the skies darkened, transforming the serene landscape into a scene of impending chaos. The couple had been enjoying a quiet evening, playing with their sons, Israel and Samuel, in the backyard. A faint rumble of thunder caught their attention, but it was the eerie calm that followed that made them uneasy. Jill looked up at the sky, her instincts honed from years of living in tornado-prone territory. "Derick, we should check the weather," she said, her voice tinged with concern. Derick nodded, pulling out his phone to access the latest updates. His expression quickly shifted from casual curiosity to alarm. "There are tornado warnings for our area. We need to get inside, now." As they hurried their children into the house, the wind began to pick up, howling through the trees with an unsettling ferocity. Jill's heart raced as she gathered emergency supplies, her mind racing through safety protocols she had rehearsed countless times. In the safety of their basement, the family huddled together, listening to the ominous roar of the storm outside. Derick tried to keep the boys calm, telling them stories to distract from the terror unfolding around them. But even his steady voice couldn't mask the fear in his eyes. The storm raged on for what felt like hours. The power flickered and then went out, plunging them into darkness. Jill clung to her children, whispering reassurances she wasn't entirely sure she believed. The walls of their home creaked and groaned under the pressure of the relentless wind. Finally, the cacophony outside began to subside. The silence that followed was almost as unnerving as the storm itself. Cautiously, Derick climbed the stairs to assess the damage. Jill waited anxiously, listening to his footsteps echoing through the house. When he returned, his face was pale but relieved. "We're okay," he said, pulling her into a tight embrace. "The house is intact." Tears of relief filled Jill's eyes as she hugged him back. "Thank God. But we need to check on everyone else." Their phones buzzed with messages and updates from family and friends. News quickly spread that while their home had been spared, others had not been as fortunate. Devastation marred the landscape, with homes reduced to rubble and familiar places unrecognizable. Jill and Derick wasted no time in reaching out to their community. They loaded their truck with supplies and headed out to help those in need. The scene that greeted them was heartbreaking. Neighbors sifted through debris, searching for remnants of their lives. Faces etched with shock and despair met the Dillards as they offered assistance. Jill's parents' home had suffered significant damage, and her siblings were busy trying to salvage what they could. She hugged her mother tightly, feeling the weight of the day's events settle heavily on her shoulders. "We'll get through this," Jill said, trying to inject some hope into her voice. "We'll rebuild." For the next few days, Jill and Derick worked tirelessly alongside their community. They cleared debris, provided food and water, and offered comfort to those grappling with loss. Jill marveled at the resilience of the people around her, their spirits unbroken despite the destruction. One evening, after a long day of helping others, Jill and Derick sat on their porch, watching the sunset paint the sky in hues of orange and pink. The tranquility felt almost surreal after the chaos of the storm. "Today was hard," Jill said, leaning against Derick. "But seeing everyone come together, it's a reminder of what's truly important. We're all in this together." Derick nodded, his arm wrapped around her shoulders. "It's a powerful thing, this sense of community. It makes you realize how much we need each other." Jill sighed, feeling a mixture of exhaustion and gratitude. "I'm just so thankful we're safe. It could have been so much worse." The days turned into weeks as the town slowly began to recover. Rebuilding efforts were underway, and the community's bond grew stronger through shared adversity. Jill and Derick continued to lend their support, their hearts full of compassion for those still struggling. One afternoon, Jill received a call from her sister Jessa. Her voice was shaky, filled with relief and sorrow. "Jill, I just wanted to thank you and Derick for everything you've done. It's been so hard, but knowing you're here for us makes it a little easier."